Hey guys, welcome to another episode of, well, let me get my picture straight here. Hey, there I am. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Casual. Appreciate you showing up. I should have all this set up before I come on, right? That's okay. Hey, I appreciate you showing up, guys. This is episode 30, August 25th, 2021. I'm running a day or two behind, but that's okay. I'll get another one out. I want to try to keep at least 4 videos. But anyway, today's episode is the spiritual nature of BTC. Let me plug in my other mouse. Alright guys, welcome. It's my pleasure to welcome you to another episode of Crypto Casual. I am Chuck, your esoteric crypto coach. I've helped people for over 30, 40 years with reframing their lives. And only in the last 6 years, 7 years or so, I've helped them with cryptocurrency, and then I've combined those two worlds of the esoteric framework to cryptocurrency, because for me it's the same thing. Yeah, for me it's the same thing. They're both electrically based. For me, spirituality, cryptocurrency, esoteric, it's all the same word to me. Your soul, all that good stuff. It's just movement of energy. And we can rename this energy a million things and give it icons and give it worships. But for me, it's just electricity. And for me, that I can reverence that. I can devote myself to understanding it, learning it, and using it properly. So, for those who are joining me, we are the ESO crypto community. We're bringing our spirituality. We're trying to bring enlightenment to other people, not just in finance, but also in your well-being. So for me, Binance is the binary transmittable consciousness. I also had the binary Christ consciousness. It's all the same thing. It's just new energy. It's laying new pathways, not only in our brains to receive it, but it's also laying a ghostly infrastructure, if you will, in the ethers that allows us to amplify our telepathy. If you watched my episode yesterday, we talked about the telepathy of BTC. All this electricity is helping us to become and understand that we are all one. We are uniquely and sovereign one, but again, we uniquely present ourselves. Just as each finger on my hand is all part of the same hand, but each finger is uniquely different. Right? We are the new 2.0, and this isn't transhumanism where we're hooking ourselves up and embedding chips and stuff. That's fine. You can call that version 2.0, but for me, it's the spiritual electrical version 2.0, which means we're just going to a new phase of consciousness, a higher frequency, a faster, more reliable, secure, and I'm calling that Homo Luminous. Cool? And so my purpose of this channel is just to serve you, learn how to grow a simple and rich life to become successfully better, whatever that is for you in your health, wealth, and love. And we're going to do this through the personal growth frameworks. And we're going to look at how to grow our financial well-being by looking at some fundamental strategies. And one of the most important things is understanding that you are an esoteric trinity. And what I mean by that is the cosmic fire or electricity, BTC, and the holistic you. So this is your Father, Son, Holy Ghost, your crone, mother, daughter. It's whatever trinity you want to look at, but it serves 3 different purposes. But an ice cube can become both vapors and it can become water. Cool? All right. For those who are joining us and aren't familiar with this, this is our pattern of the day, or our strategy of the day. We're going to look at some chart patterns, and I'm going to give you one of my crypto picks that I like and the fundamental reasons behind it. We're going to get into some news and definition, the esoteric behavioral framework, and the influencer of the book, or influencer of the day, the book or movie. For some of y'all who have already seen these, y'all can just fast forward to some of this stuff. That's okay. But I want to make sure we introduce all this stuff to the new people. And for you new people, I am just a guy making videos, giving you my opinions. I'm not your advisor. I'm not your guru. I don't give advice. I give frameworks. I regurgitate, reframe, rephrase, repeat. I do all that good stuff, but I don't tell you what to do with your life because it's yours to do with it as you please. The ultimate responsibility for your thoughts, words, actions, and emotions are you, not me. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your priest, not your doctor. All the ultimate responsibility is with you. Can we seek their counsel? Absolutely. But you still need to go into anything with an open mind, with understanding, and with education. Cool? All right, guys, do me a favor. Before we get started here, them robots like to get tickled. The AI loves the stimulation when you hit that little like button. Ring that notification bell, guys. I would appreciate it because it helps the algorithms and it helps get this channel out a lot more. So let's get with the charts and patterns of the day. I keep disappearing. All right. Let's get on with the patterns of the day, charts of the day. Now we have noticed a drop in Bitcoin here, and that's fine because it's all within the pattern we've been going over here for the last few episodes, is that we're still in this rising channel. We're still in the confines. We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down, we go up, we go down. And we did hit that 50,000 price again and got rejected. So after so many rejections, we're going to take a huge breather. And as you can see, we're testing this support line right now where we've hit it multiple times, and we're hitting it, we're dropping a little below it, or we can just adjust it just a little bit. Yeah, I can adjust this just a little bit, and I'm okay with that. So really, we haven't busted below this line, but again, we did hit near that 50,000. We keep getting rejected. We do sort of have a head and shoulders, and the head and shoulders is that it looks like a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder, and I can take a measured move from the top of the head to the line of the shoulders, and then just go up or down with this. But for me, and we can explain head and shoulders, but that's the simple of it. I'm pretty sure I went over it in a few videos ago. Yeah, go back and watch that video. I can't remember which one it is, but just go back. I'll try to get more professional on that and have you a link below or pop it up eventually. But right now, these are just sort of, for me, live videos. There's no editing. I'm just going right through the videos. So yeah, well, we're still on the same channel, still going up and down, but gradually going up. So that's always a good move. We're beginning to, these indicators down here, this is the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index, or indicator that just allows me to see that when it goes to the bottom, as you can see, it oscillates between, when it goes to the bottom, it only hangs up there so long and it starts rising again. So we're hanging down at the bottom and it's starting to rise again. Now, that's not to say this indicator can't stay low, because it's a lagging indicator. It only sort of tells us what's already happened, but we can look at the patterns and get an idea of, should we buy some more at this point when it's low? I do. And should I sell some? I don't really sell my Bitcoin, but if I'm in a leverage or anything, I may take a stop loss there and then wait for it to come back down, buy back in, and go back up. We'll talk sense. So there's your patterns and charts for the day. I have two different picks. I like Constellation Network because it goes with my news of the day. Can find, here it is, my news of the day. Constellation Network to provide U.S. Air Force with blockchain security and data sharing. And you can get into this article, and they're just using it because they're going to put all their transportation systems on this, which means it's highly secure because it's on the contracts, smart contracts, and yeah, you can read the article. It's on CoinDesk. Yeah, so now we have the military coming into cryptocurrency, and so that is my pick of the day, is a Constellation coin, or DAG. yeah, take a look at it, see what you think about it. Um, there's only, or I should say there's actually a lot of these 3.5 uh, billion of these, so there are a lot. Um, but if you go into their website, they'll give you a little more detail of what they are. So basically, Constellation is an open source platform you can use to create blockchains, cryptocurrencies, decentralized applications. So yeah, you can create your own cryptocurrency on this page. You can do your own blockchain, which is great. And I say smart contracts, but it's really not. It's paired by hypergraph, which is more of the blockchain. So you can go into infinite scaling, simple to deploy, cost-effective, impenetrable, and that's why the military is using it. But here's all the people that are featured partners. Space, we're getting into the space, the Air Force. I mean, these, AWS, again, that's Amazon. So these are a lot of big companies coming into here. So for anyone who still is hesitant to get into the crypto space, if the entire government around the world, banks, over 55% of the banks are coming in, hedge managers, so forth and so on, they're all coming in. So for me, this I think is a good crypto for me to get into. Yeah, and see what you think about that, guys. All right, that was the news and the news of the day, and the sort of our definition is CFI and DeFi. CFI means centralized finance. That's the old school banks, what we call the old boomers, the old white-haired guys, which I'm an old white-haired guy, but these guys are 80, 90 years old, and they're still trying to, they like their comfort zone, and they want to stay in their comfort zones because they don't like change. They like, when they've got something working and it's working, they just maintain, even at the cost of everyone or anything else. They keep this old system going, but as we know, nothing stays the same in this world. It recycles, absolutely, but the ingredients get mixed and create something new. And when that newness comes, which is Bitcoin or the blockchain, those who survive will adapt, and those who will thrive will adapt. So yeah, CFI, when you hear that term, it just means centralized finance. That's the old banking style. And DeFi is the new crypto way of doing finance, which is a whole hell of a lot better. All right, guys, let's get in. That's enough news and all that of the day. Let's get into the crypto side, or let's get into the spiritual side of the nature of BTC. Now, some of y'all may be familiar with a lot of these things if you're in the esoteric or watch Ancient Aliens or any of this type of stuff. You've been there. BTC is laying the ley lines for the future. So on Earth, we have what's called the ley lines. Some of y'all may be familiar with this. These are connections and straight lines, if you will, electrical pathways connecting key structures on Earth as well as celestial bodies. Basically, we have the pyramids in Egypt. They mirror Orion's belt, and Teotihuacan in South America and other countries. They're all are on these ley lines because they're just an electrical grid. We have an electrical grid out here now. That are having brownouts and stuff like that. But this electrical grid was pretty solid. It kept on powering generators, machinery. It allowed vehicles to fly. Our flight didn't start in 1902 with the Wright brothers. It was here long before, and we have evidence of that. And again, if you have a closed mind and you can't understand that, go do some more research and see if, look at the evidence. I'm not here to politicize anything. I'm here to look at evidence. And I look at both sides. I look at both arguments. I look at traditional old-haired guys in archaeology, and then I look at the new, fresh set of eyes from engineering points of view, from geological studies, right? When you look at the other information instead of being tunneled in one way of thinking, you miss out on all the other ones because your opinions then are all just narrow. So we want to be unlimited in our thinking. So BTC is what we're going to call the new electrical pathways connecting key structures on Earth as well as celestial bodies. So when we ship stuff to Mars, when we put stuff on the moon, if they're not already there, they are being communicated with through the blockchain or this new technology. Excuse me. Yeah, and then some of the stuff that we've already got on the moon and Mars and other planets and celestial bodies. They're all being connected not only through satellite, but it's going to be secured by the blockchain networks and other cryptocurrency networks. So framework, how do we open ourselves up? How do we connect? How do we create our internal ley lines, right? And we're just going to simplify this, again, keeping it simple and rich, right? So in the three zones, there's three zones: comfort, growth, and safety, right? So these three zones, the first one we're going to discuss is comfort zone. And this is where we look for comfort, you know, in our nice little niches, you know, our jobs. That's job security, pensions, the same as every day, the 9 to 5. You wake up, drop the kids off, go to your job, pick the kids up, go to school, right? And then you do this until they're 18 or so, and then they're out on their own, or they stay at home these days because they can't afford it because the government's debasing the dollar and the powers to be are making it harder and harder, and they're increasing tuition. Right, but if you can kick in your intuition, then you'll see what paths are best for you and not go in debt as they want you to go, because they like their little slaves, their mental slaves. So why are you staying in your comfort zone? Because of its brainwashing through programming, through television, through repetitive. Same stories on the news, and people get addicted to that because they use subtonal zones inside the frequencies of your television, and they have flashes within what you're watching to keep your brain at a certain frequency or pace, and they don't like it to go beyond that pace, and they want you in that comfort zone because then you can't fight back. You can't think for yourself. So that's called conditioning. And then or what we call institutionalization, right? They want you to go to a college, which is an institution. They want to institutionalize you. Where do they put you when you're labeled by them as schizophrenic or anything else? In an institution. So start putting these words together, guys. You're being institutionalized. You're being conditioned. You're being brainwashed, right? And that's fine if you choose to. I'm not here to take anyone out. I'm not here to stop them from brainwashing you. They'll go for it, you know. The less unconscious zombies walking around this planet, I'm fine with that, because it makes and really I'm not okay with it, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing on this channel, is to help everyone come out of that. And if you're ready to come out of it, these are some of the frameworks to help you come out of it and understand. Again, brainwashing, institutions, these things aren't bad or good to me. They're just institutions, and at some point, like anything, you grow out of it. Just like the old guys, if they can't see the future, they're going to be left behind. And Bitcoin is the second coming to me, is the second Christ. And so if you are missing out on this new evolution of electricity and consciousness, then you will be left behind. You will stay in your comfort zone. And again, that's fine. I'm not here to take you out of it. But if you're ready to come out of it, I'm here for you guys. Growth zone. The growth zone pushes you out of a comfort zone. And so what does it look like when you're in a growth zone? You're pushing back. Again, against institutionalization, proselytization by religions. We don't want to be proselytized. That just means to be conditioned again, another fancy word. It pushes you, so we want to push back when we're told to do something. Now, as a kid, what do kids do? When a parent tells them to do something, they naturally push back. That's good. And again, within a certain framework or a condition or wherever you're comfortable with, you can set those boundaries. Right? Or you can push those boundaries. But growth happens when you push the boundaries. And if you can push them with intellectualism, if you can push it with understanding, awareness, when the government says, please put this experimental shot in your body, and we don't know what the hell it's going to do to you in 2 or 3 years, by all means do that. That's a conditioning. And they use fear and threats and isolation. They're doing Jim Crow laws all over again. They're going to isolate you. You can't go to this concert. If you own this bus, you got to sit in the back. You can't drink from the waterfall just from those who've been given a shot. And those, so you'll have separate worlds, right? It is in the essence Jim Crow laws. Again, I'm not here to be political. I'm just promoting education, right? Learn their narratives, learn the other narratives, right? And to make up your own mind, right? And that is growth. That pushes you outside the conditional boundaries, right? And so always question, right? When they say, hey, just take this, I'm going, okay, what's in it? How long is it? What's the side effects? What's your test? Has it been FDA approved? Right? Which it has. That shot we were talking about hasn't been approved. It is an experimental, um, we'll just say it's an experiment and put it at that. I don't want to get banned. But you get what I'm saying. So anyone who tells me to do anything, I was ex-military, so I chose to go in and take all their shots. And I was ready to take all full responsibilities for those shots of my body, my health, my mind, all that stuff, right? But I always question everything. I question. Now, if I'm okay to just go into an institution and play around in there for a while, I'm okay with that. But I never drink the Kool-Aid. Right? I hear these terms 5D people. I hear all these expressions of new consciousness. I hear all these terms. That's great. I'll go explore these new thought waves, right? But I'm not going to drink any of their Kool-Aids. I'm going to question, and I'll take away from it what's part of my growth, right? Making sense? All right, so our life strategy should be to live in the growth zone. You always want to be growing, because if not, you're dying, guys. We're already dying once we were born, but mentally, physically, spiritually, right? The only way you're going to grow is by asking more questions. And yesterday we talked about sitting quiet with yourself, opening up to your higher self, and downloading the higher frequency knowledge. Right? So we don't want to stay too long in the comfort zone or the safety zone, and we're going to talk here about the safety zone here in a minute. I already talked about safety. I gotta pass it. There we go. That makes more sense. Safety zone. Safety zone is risk takers, right? When we went into cryptocurrency, we were the risk takers, right? And we're still risk takers by definition to some. We're in the danger zone. We're pushing, and some of us have taken all of our fiat, debased, corrupt energy, i.e. dollars, and put them into a whole new system. We took the leap. We went into the danger zone, right? The fringe of technology, right? And we pushed the boundaries. We're pushing back against the governing of our minds. And so we're being resilient with that. And for everyone who has been part of this new fringe technology, you're all pretty happy by looking at your checkbooks, right? The danger zone, we want to push those boundaries and be resilient, right? Nice little picture of that flower pushing in, no matter how hard, concave, or how concrete. The governments want to control you and plow over your money, your lifestyle. They want to be the controller of your health, your wealth, and your love. Right? The religions want to control your soul. Medical wants to control your health, and governments want to control your mind. So for me, I like to be part of a system that's sovereign, right? So spirituality, maturity is what all that gets you that we just talked about. Growth-based, always growing, right? And that's spiritual growth, right? It's a spirituality. Spirit is energy. Spirale is just an electrical component, an ion, an atom, a muon, lepton, whatever you want to call these breakdowns of atoms. Atom is the beginning of a growth. And so for me, to mature is a growth, and start your growth pathways, the strategy and frameworks as we were discussing through all my videos. And that leads to maturity, persistence, grit, and hustling, right? We've been conditioned to learn a certain way, but when you had to learn about cryptocurrencies, financings, you had to push beyond your own conditioning boundaries. And so what that did is help you grow, and that growth leads to maturity. So for me, growth and maturity are the same thing. And a lot of these people promise the promised land to us, right? Do this, do that, and you'll have milk and honey. You'll have financial wealth by doing our management systems for the rich. Nothing against the rich again, guys. And just that's their conditioning, right? But the conditioning only helps you manage the rich. It doesn't help you become rich or sovereign. And so promised land is not a destination, guys. It is your sovereignty. A promised land is your sovereignty, which is freedom. Right? So your freedom is, in essence, we can call it a destination, but it's an ongoing destination. It's always growing, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So let's get over here. This video is getting a little long, so let's get into the influencer of the day. And this is, some of y'all may recognize, Louise May Alcott. She wrote Little Women amongst many, many other things, but she was heavily influenced by Emerson, Hawthorne, David Thoreau, Thoreau, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. She grew up in these times. She wrote the first book, Little Women. I think it came out in 1940 or 1840, 1860. And her father and all of them, Louisa was influenced, I think, mainly by Thoreau. She went out to the wilderness as he did and whatnot, and really learned a lot of the esoteric spiritualism, which is not religion; it's a thought process of the esoteric. And so everyone, so not only am I giving you Alcott today, I'm giving you Waldo Emerson, Hawthorne. Nathaniel Hawthorne is one of my favorite writers. His style is brilliant. And these guys were resilient. They were always pushing the growth. Alcott always went under different pseudonyms because back then they wouldn't publish women because the old dude said, no, women aren't smart, they're property, and they can't own anything, they're not smart, whatever. And we know that to be extremely different than that paradigm back then, or that old conditioning. So eventually she came out under her own name, and we know about her today because of this. But they were all part of this esoteric movement. Everything that you touched today was touched by these great minds. And I believe you have a great mind. And I believe that you are going to like the version of yourself once you subscribe to your own doctrine. Right? And that doctrine is always open and learning and growing. Cool, guys? That's about enough for today. I don't want to sound too preachy, but yeah, this is a great framework. So definitely like, subscribe, ring that little notification bell, guys. And when you do, you'll be happy. All right, guys, remember, keep alive.